Hey, what's up, guys? So Eli here. It's been a few days, and this will be vlog number 10, I think, is where we're on. Day number 10 of making our comic book. In reality, there was quite a few steps that led up to day number 10, but day number 10 from the standpoint of producing an overall comic book and basically documenting or vlogging a way for to show a step-by-step process that I go through and that other artists might be able to use, and kind of an idea of a jumping off point for your own work. So I think the last video I left is that my grandmother had passed away, and I think that was, it's one of those things when you're going through any kind of grieving, and it can seem like days, time gets kind of weird or loopy, or it doesn't quite necessarily fit together, and that's of course all normal. First and foremost, thank you for those Running Deer Publishing. If you haven't checked out his videos, you might do that. He has a really cool way of basically documenting his idea and his process of not only maybe doing the same thing of producing and ultimately a comic book, but then also just his overall ideas and approach to his artwork. And so I just really send you his way. But so thank you, Running Deer Publishing, for your condolences, and for everybody else as well that dropped me a quick line in that appreciation. It means a great deal. But I think that the big thing is the importance that no matter where we are in our different situations, our different expressions, our different existences, it's important to move one step at a time, no matter whatever our situation is, and the importance that whatever's going to help us move, I guess, lack of a better term, move the needle and continue our progression towards our end goals of not only what our purpose is here on this planet, but also moving forward one step at a time in our endeavors. And I think with any type of grieving that I've certainly been through in the past, of my father died way too young, and so it's not something that I haven't been through before, but each person, it does hurt and does feel different. And with each of our experiences, we have to move forward. We have to. There's no other way to explain it, express it, do it. We have to move forward as best as we possibly can, and not get overwhelmed. And sometimes, one of my favorite quotes, I look it up here. So, this is Martin Luther King Jr. Let's see here. I want to get right here. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you keep moving forward. That is absolutely the truth. You can't, so true words of, regardless of our mistakes, regardless of what we've been through, we have to move forward. And it's important to do that. So even though I haven't necessarily been keeping up with these vlog videos, there are little pieces I have been able to move forward. It seems like in many ways that, in any type of major project that you're going to do, I guess any project that I've ever experienced, there's always been little setbacks or little things that I didn't quite plan out, and that happen in our lives and our experiences. And we can't, it's important that we acknowledge that those things will happen. That's okay. We don't beat ourselves over, well, it happened, you know what, I'll just give up on this project. No, that's not the answer. It can't be. We have to continue to progress in our work. And that's what this is all about. That's the ideas that I like best, is that of overcoming the impossible, which is kind of my favorite themes and stories, are going over those types of ideas and those types of storylines, plot lines. And so in terms of where we are right now, I'm a few pages away from finishing the overall script and coming to sort of a really close final draft for it. So it's still a few days away. However, and the next couple days I won't be doing a vlog video. I just won't be having access to my computer. But what I will be doing is that over that period of time, I will be using that time over this last end of this week to finish up this script. In the meantime, what I am also doing is the next kind of stage that I'm working on after you do the script, and I'm kind of overlapping here, is the next 7, to 10, almost 2 weeks maybe. I'll be working on roughs, really thumbnail sketches of what each panel is, what each page looks like, and progressing from there. And that's going to basically help me do is come up with a list of things that I need to research in terms of being able to draw certain objects that would be important of displaying a particular story. I need to be able to research and know what those objects are so that when I am drawing them and developing them onto the final works, that the work is up to a quality that I'm after, but then also the work is consistent. It's all developing in a consistent manner that when the overall project is finished, everything has a concise and a clean feel to it, which doesn't distract from the story or doesn't become a hindrance to the actual story that's trying to be presented. So that's kind of my next step, is that over these next 2 weeks, along with this little overlap of finishing up the script, that I'll be working on all those thumbnails and giving myself the groundwork to ultimately get to the final, heading to finishing up those roughs, and then out of the roughs into type pencil. Now, at any point in time, these ideas can change. These ideas can, they're not set in stone, and that's the thing. The biggest thing with like thumbnails is that you're presenting an idea that has a start to something. Ideas can change, ideas can grow and develop, but that's kind of the important piece to it, is just getting started with the idea and getting started with, okay, these are the things that I need to work through so that my work is consistent and has a really good quality to it. So, which I think the thing is that after that point, after that kind of next phase, then I'll move into kind of my final roughs, which will again continue that process of getting to ultimately the type pencils and then inking and coloring and all those sort of things from that end of the thing. Now, as far as what I have also done in this time period, since the last time I've talked with you guys, is that I've started a Indiegogo, what do I call it? Basically an Indiegogo pre-launch page where I can take your guys' email address and be able to hold that aside so that when I do launch the full crowdfunding sometime in the spring, that in spring 2020, that I will be able to send that information to you guys so you can stay up to date on what's going on with the project and the updating of the project, and certainly so you can back the project as well. So I will be putting that description and the link to that in the description section. And I think, the thing is that I'm a huge proponent of indie comics and the development of indie comics. And certainly these types of projects like this, that I'm not necessarily going to be publishing through some of these big names that are out there, that I'll be publishing on my own. It takes a credible amount of funding to be able to get to a finished product and then off to send it ultimately to the distributor, or distribute it to you guys directly, rather. I think, out of any other time in history, there really hasn't been a more perfect time than now to make this actually into reality. So one of the things that is really important for as that's important for you guys to help jump in and help us out is that all sorts of platforms, and you name it, from anything like Facebook to YouTube, where you might be watching this particular video, is that I think in January 1st, 2020, YouTube and of course all these platforms are constantly changing their algorithms to help out the big guys. And so more than ever, we're kind of in this juxtaposition where the big guys are getting more and more help because more and more people are moving to platforms of people that are doing smaller projects, that they're seeing the outreach that's taking place with projects like mine. I'm obviously not the only creator out there that has tapped into, lack of a better term, sort of the zeitgeist or the pulse of what's happening in terms of where the populace is wanting to put their backing and the effort and their care, because they've seen larger entities almost destroy platforms that people have loved. I mean, take Star Trek, for example. And I'm not trying to drum up particular issues with either Star Trek or Star Wars, or there's just been a lot of frustrated fans that they're more willing, or DC or Marvel, any of these other platforms, they're not capturing the idea of what the independent creators, because we're fans of the products that we're reading, they're just not tapping into that. And so more than ever, I think, because of the algorithms that are changing and all those sort of things, obviously those are things that are outside of our control. We can't control what they change or don't change within their platform. But what we can control is to be able to share it out with you guys as best as we can, continue to hit the street, so to speak, the real street, and share with you guys the importance of backing projects like this, and the excitement to be able to go directly and leave a distributor out of it and go directly to the creator. There's no other time like this that this could happen. And so the importance of going to the link that we'll be providing in the description and putting in your email is a huge help to continuing projects like this, that this is a viable business model that we can all participate on. And I think the last thing that I would like to close in on is that as artists, I think there's almost two dichotomies. One says that as artists, you're not really an artist unless you're a starving artist. Oh, that drives me crazy. It's okay as artists to want to get paid. It's okay that as artists that we have a platform or the ability to receive support so that we can then go on and help finance and develop the next project. That's the whole point of what creation and being a part of and supporting creators and supporting stories and all sorts of things from all gamuts of life is incredibly important. Otherwise, we're stifling the ideas of communication, of the really of the human experience. It's so important that we're sharing these stories because they're an embodiment of the reality of what we're going through at this moment in time. So that's just kind of I wanted to drop in some of my ideas into this vlog, that regardless of whatever they do, your support and getting to your guys' support and sharing this is really appreciated. And certainly we're going to do our part of sending it out to the masses. But the other half of that is your guys' support to, let's say, for example, that, ultimately you're not able to drop in a few dollars to help continue this project, but that you're able to share this project to other people. Wow, that's awesome. And the idea that we have the ability to connect to other people outside of our current physical base is exciting and phenomenal. So I just wanted to share a few ideas about that in terms of where we are, in terms of kind of our stages in the process, and wanted to share that with you guys. So hope you have an excellent rest of your week. All the best, and then we'll see you in about, I think, next Monday. All the best, guys. We'll see you. Bye.
TikvahMinds.com